Hi everyone, it's Anna Wheaton from Nudge Nudge Ink Inc. Today I want to show you one of the new bundles in the annual catalogue for 2022 and 23. It's called Sweet Songbirds. It consists of this stamp set and this punch, and it's on page 31 of the catalogue. So you can buy the items separately. You can certainly use the stamp set on its own without the punch. If you wanted to buy the stamp and the punch together, you get 10% off the bundle. So it's great value. Punches are very easy to use. They're quick. They store flat because we have a lovely little lock on the back. So you just push them together and lock them. So they're very handy, a quick way to craft. So we're going to be making this card or a version of it using the in colours that are new. So I'll put that aside and this aside and start by folding my cardstock in half, where I just match the corners up. I've got my card in a bit of a curve or a roll there, and I just pull my bone folder across there. Then I'm going to pull in a piece of basic white that I've already cut, and this is using the rectangle stitched framelits. So what you end up with is a rectangle, but it has stitching around the side. So it's a nice effect to add just something extra to your card. And I just want to get to the centimetre side. I don't know why. I'll grab this one. Okay, I'm going to put that down, and we're going to start with a little bit of blending brush for the sky and using the colour Orchid Oasis. Now I've already used this in the ink, so it's still got a bit of ink to it. So if I just rub that across, I'm a little bit cautious because it's a new ink pad. It's quite wet and I don't want it to be too heavy on the cardstock like that. This exact same thing happened just as I was playing around with it. So I'm going to grab another one. I know now that that's good and inky. Now remember that you can always add, you can't take away. So I can keep going over up the top and then a little bit of lighter down the bottom because that's where the bulk of my image is. There we go. That'll do. So the stamp set, it's one of our two-step stamp sets, which means that you've got all these little components that work together. So you can add legs to your bird. You've got a branch that you can add leaves to and flowers to. So we're going to use a few of those elements now. I'll start with the branch. And I'm using early espresso here. And I'm just going to stamp that there and then re-ink and just have a little bit of it down here. So the same branch to make two branches. Oh, keeping that ink out, I'm also going to use this. You might wonder what this is. So here we've got a little sort of wooden sign and two little strings, which can be anything else also. They don't have to be strings if you can think of an idea for them. Little stamp, light touch. I did rock that slightly. But now I'm just lying the other, that little wooden sign over here just to give me a bit of an idea of how wide to make that. And then the wooden sign itself, I'm going to use crumb cake. Now my crumb cake looks green on the end. It's gets a little bit of sun through my craft room window. I'm actually going to stamp that off to get it even lighter. So there you go. Because I'm going to add a word to it. So I really don't want it to be too dark. The word I want, these are thank you notes. So we've got a few little things that would fit, but I'm going to use a little note of thanks in black and stamp that there. So you can see that shows up well. Where I stamped off, that's darker, so it may not show up as well. That's why I stamped it off. Okay, this stamp here, these leaves are all one stamp. So they're specially spaced out so that when you add them, they just match the end of that branch like so and like so. This is another in colour called Parakeet Party. And then we've also got a little flower, which I'm using Starry Sky for. This stamps very cutely. Can you say that? I'll just add one going off the edge there. Okay, branch is done. Now, my little bird, I'm going to bring in a scrap of Whisper White. Here's the bird punch. When we use our punches, we use them upside down. So I'll lie that there. I'm going to take this bird image so you can see how that matches that stamp, that punch shape. It's a good idea to look at how your punch is laid out so that you get the best use of your cardstock. Sometimes you can be feeding it in from the wrong side. So I'm going to stamp that, and I've leant him back a little bit. So see, he's sort of tipping back. That is so that I can get the punch in there. If he was tipped too far forward, my punch would hit the edge of the cardstock. Like so. Now, this is also punched out this piece. I thought originally that was the wing of the birdie, but no, it's the belly. Okay, so if you wanted to do the belly in a different color, or here's one, for example, where it's just punched. So I've punched the main bird out of the Tahitian tide, and this belly is out of the basic white. In this case, I'm just leaving it because it's stamped. Now, we also popped out a wing. However, I'm going to stamp that wing and then pop it out. So I'm going again. Now, again, I refer to the punch. This is what we're punching out. So I want the point, see that? The point of the wing facing to the right. Just cut that away so that I don't make too much confetti. And then you can see I could just feed that in. Line it up, pop. That I'm going to add using my mini dimensionals. They are the perfect size. To add. Actually, I'm not going to do that just yet. Let me leave that there, because what I should do is stamp the eyes before the wing gets in the way. So our bird has a very blank face at the moment. We've got a choice of eyes. We've got a little circular eyes, or this little bird can be singing with his eyes closed. So I'm going to use that one to show you what I mean. So there he is. He's concentrating so hard on his singing that his eyes are closed. Now I'm going to add the wing. Then the other thing I can do is we have this little shape in the punch, like a little heart. Pop that out. This is Mango Melody. So this is one of our regular color families. And you can see that matches that little beak space. So I'm getting a mini glue dot, squishing it up. And the fact that it squishes up also means that it's got a bit of height to it. Alrighty, so it's dimensionalized there. So how are we going? We've got the card, we've got the base, we've got the bird, and we'd like a nest. So for the nest, I've got some crumb cake, a little bit of a break or a variety from using just all white. And it also adds some colour in behind. Early espresso ink. There is no punch for this. So I'm going to grab my paper snips, cut away the excess just so that I don't have the weight of that cardboard to work round. And then I'm just going to cut round, leaving a little bit of a border. Now, as I go round here, you see I'm moving the cardstock rather than the scissors, and just creating a bit of texture of all those twigs rather than a straight line. Doesn't have to be perfect. There we go. Throw that away. Now we're ready to put together. So I'm going to flip those over, grab my dimensionals, to put there. Then with my seal, seal is our super duper glue runner. When you use it and you reach the end of the card, you don't want to go off the edge because you'll get your workspace gluey, but you just give yourself a little bit of a tick to chop it off like that. Okay, that way you've still got glue on the end of your on the rolly bit, that's the official name, to go again. If you don't, if you end up without glue on the rolly bit, you've just got to roll it around with your thumb. The reason that happens often is people just pull that away, and you see you get a bit of, can you see that? Chewy. And once you pull that away, it's pulled the glue off there. All right, this in place. Peel off the backings off here. Nest in place. And singing bird in place. We also want to give the bird some music. I probably should have done this beforehand, but I didn't think of it. Beautiful song. And then the last little touch is we have in colour matte decorative dots, I think they're called. Let me see. In colour matte decorative dots, not dogs. So you can see there's sort of an ombre. You can see on the left is darker, and then to the right is lighter of each of the shades. So we'll go again, same as on my other card. You can either use the pokey end of this, like so, or this end has the putty. So the idea of this, you can see that? I just twisted it, oh, and some of it's coming out. So you can actually push, that's not a good example, that left its little, you can actually push your embellishment off, and then it will stick to that, which makes it easier to put it down. Okay, there you have little birdie and little birdie's cousin, closed eyes and open eyes, punched out beak, left as it is beak. There you go. That's a bit of an idea of how that stamp set works. Hope that was helpful. Bye.